Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. In all the torment that Jesus received, he could have been angry at his tormentors. He could have cried in pity, asking them to stop. But instead, he is praying for his enemies. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Jesus did not ask for his own deliverance, but rather the deliverance of his loved ones. By praying for his enemies, Christ has shown us a perfect example of how we should treat those who have wronged us and hate us. He has also shown us that all are deserving of prayer. In Isaiah 52, verse 12, it was first foretold that the Savior would make intercessions for the transgressors. Christ is fulfilling this prophecy. Christ has also shown us humility. Humility in love he had for us, had for his tormentors. He pleaded for his crucifiers and making intercession for their forgiveness. Now, to have a better understanding of God's love, let us imagine a child who lashes out at school. Maybe their parents are going through a divorce or other issues at home. Or they may have a learning disability. The reasons are endless. The feeling of love and sadness for this child flood our hearts. We take this child's behavior and empathize with them. Now imagine, this is how Jesus sees us in our faults and sins. Imagine, this is how Jesus sees his tormentors when asking God to forgive them. The words, Father, forgive them, tells us something more. Jesus, the Son of God, is identifying with his people, where he no longer had that position to forgive sins, but rather through solidarity with us. He is showing us that we too must intercede for sinners, especially those who have done wrong to us. Now the words, they know not what they do, does not necessarily mean the tormentors were ignorant for his crucifixion, because they very well shouted out, crucify him. They were ignorant to the understanding of the severity of their crimes towards the Lord, Son of God. He was not seeking to excuse their sins, but rather asking God for forgiveness, for their forgiveness, for they desperately needed. For the sin they had committed is truly dark in ways they did not know. It is also important to remember that love and forgiveness does not excuse the wrongdoings, as there are consequences for our actions. Rather, it reminds us to reconcile with God from the sins we have committed, to forgive those who have hurt us, and pray for them, that they may be reconciled with God, just as Jesus has taught us on the cross. As we begin our Lenten journey, let us reflect on the ways God has forgiven us and how we can reestablish our relationship with God, but most importantly, how we can pray for others who have wronged us so they too can reconcile with God. Now, has your experience with forgiveness impacted your ability to forgive? This Lent, are there people in your life that you feel called to forgive? It is time to empty our hearts and our pains, our suffering, and offer them to God so that we can move forward and no longer be in bondage with these past hurts. Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do.